Hello and welcome back to Ephemera Files with Tommy. Moving on in our July journal from a Simple Kit challenge, I am going to put this to the side and work on something else that is on our list. The file folder. I'm going to be using the file folder, a napkin, some stamps, probably some lace and some trim, little pieces of fabric, some book pages, probably this, maybe not that piece of muslin, but maybe this piece of trim. I'm going to set this where I can easily reach it because I don't know exactly what all I am going to use on this part of the project. So I'll set this aside. And we'll get started. I struggled with how I was going to use a file folder. I mean, what do you do with a file folder? If you've never been faced with that task, sometimes it can be a little off-putting trying to figure out just what you're going to do. So I was looking at it and trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? And I saw the back side has a matte finish and it's a nice light color and it's really, really appropriate, I think, to make it into a journaling card. So we are going to do some napkin applique on the back of this file folder, and I think that for ease of working with it, I am probably going to just go ahead and take it apart since I am not using this one as a file folder. I feel like I am safe to take it apart to make it a little bit less unwieldy. And I'm not going to set that on the top of my basket because I don't want to have to keep digging underneath of it. So I think I'm just going to drop it in the floor for right now. You can't see my floor, so I think that it's going to be okay. I have already shown you once how I use the napkins for applique, and right now it doesn't look like you could see much of this pattern behind this, but I am pretty sure that once we get the glue on there and we get this pressed on nice and firm, then I think that it will show up just enough. So let's try it, shall we? Got my handy dandy glue stick, my Scotch Create. This is my favorite glue stick. Everybody has a favorite something or other. This may not be yours. Use your favorite. Because after all, it's your project. It's not mine. Do what you want with it. I am just here to help you by showing you how I go about creating. Because everybody is creative in their own right, and I'm not about to tell somebody how they can or cannot be creative. I am just going to help you with how I am. All right, so I'm going to smooth this down with my finger. I would really like to not have wrinkles, if at all possible, in my napkin. I realize that some may be inevitable because it just happens. But if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. Which may mean a lot of lifting, which I think is fine because when you use a liquid medium like Mod Podge or matte gel medium or something like that, your napkin gets very, very wet, which weakens it. Now, it makes a strong bond whenever it's all dry, but until then, you have to be extremely careful because it will tear. It will tear so easily. This will still tear sometimes with this glue stick, but I feel it doesn't glue or tear as readily as it does with the wet glues. So I prefer this. And once again, I'm going to try to make it as smooth as I can. I kind of wish I had put as a choice of a napkin in there one that was just a little less, let's see, what would be the right word? A little less rich in color. All of my choices seem to be very colorful or have deep dark colors in them. One of them has some beautiful teals and fuchsias, but when I held it up against this file folder, I am pretty sure that none of this yellow would have shown through. Whereas you can see how it very subtly shows through that background, giving it just a little extra oomph. I am going to get my water brush out again. This is a Jane Davenport water brush, but I have some other types, and I have found that one basically works as well as another, at least with the ones that I have tried. I have talked before about when I do this napkin applique technique, I like to tuck my edges around. Well, that is not the case with this because it is a different application. I only want it to be on the front of the file folder. And so I am painting that as close as I can to the edge, painting the water. And what that does is weaken the fibers of the napkin so that it's easily torn away. Up here it's probably just going to come off in pieces because it is such a thin strip. But that's okay. I'm not worried about that. Again, I will get my brayer out, this poor glue covered brayer, because I did have some wrinkles in there, and I do want to make sure that I have a really good adhesion going between the napkin and the file folder. Excuse me. Now, I want to use this to make journaling cards, and I would like to have some straight edges, so I will get my Fiskars cutting board out. My apologies, I should have had that ready. I thought I was better prepared this time. And I am just going to line up, I have a corner right there, and that actually works very well for me. I can save this to make more cards using a different technique or the same technique, it doesn't matter. Let's see, how do I want to do this math-wise? First, I'm going to measure it this way. It is 7.5 inches. So that is going to be 3 3/4. If I cut that in half, that works well. That works well. Now, this is where it'll get tricky. I do not have to have a uniform size for my journaling cards. Right now this piece measures 8 3/4, and so that would require a whole lot of figuring on my part anyway. So I think that what the best idea will be is to just see where it makes sense for the picture to end. So right there's a good one, because this was uncovered with the napkin. And that makes 7, but 3 1/2 I still don't think works. But I could do a 4 and a 3, or just slightly smush it so that that word is complete. The Rue de Pomme, which I think means Apple Street, but I'm not sure. Right there I have 2 cards that could work just like that, journaling cards. For this one, I think that I do want to keep that butterfly intact. So I will slice on that side of it. I kind of like the fluffy edge on that, so I'm going to leave it. And then this, I could leave it that size. That would be pretty. I would just need to figure out something to cover up the brand name here of the napkin. And that actually wouldn't be too hard. Or I could cut it off. Let's see. But I like that size. I like that size. I could turn it on its side that way, since the French words are going that direction, and cover something up in this corner. So I think I'll leave it like that. Now what I will probably do, I'm going to go ahead and get this, and I am going to get behind me and grab my favorite corner rounder, and I am going to round these corners just because I prefer that look. I may actually go through the journal and round all those corners too. I'm not sure yet on that. I do think that these turned out very well. For having just thrown my things together in a simple kit and then having to work with what I threw together without planning, I think this is turning out all right. All right. I've lost the little backer, and so I end up with this little mess of strange triangles. I almost said you should see my floor, but no, you should not see my floor. Nobody should see my floor. All right, I think that I will make, let's see, will this cover completely if I do it that direction? I think I'm going to do this one last card. I'll set this in the scraps. I might as well use up that napkin and not let it get gone to waste because it gets all crumpled up in the basket. Which way did I have that? I had it the other way. And that was quite a tight fit, so I'm trying to be a little more careful about the placement than I usually tend to be. I don't usually worry about it that much. But it was a tight fit. I didn't want to lose the picture. I didn't want to lose the napkin. After all, that's why I'm making this extra card, because I didn't want to just waste the napkin, right? Did not get glue all the way to that edge. Easy enough fix. Just go back in and put some more glue on it. Oh, sadness. I think I am coming to the bottom of my glue stick. Let's see, can I just... All right. The glue is close enough to the edge and it is just wet enough. That didn't work real well. It tore off part of my napkin there. I think I'm going to get my water brush instead of attempting that on the other side and potentially ruining my card. And then I'll do that on this side as well. All right, you can put this away. Oh, have to get this back out. Let's see, where do we clear the butterfly? Right there. And so now, sorry, I slammed that around and I'm sure that hurt your ears. I apologize for that. Kind of hurt my ears. And I know that the things like that are much louder to you than they are to me for some reason. Like crinkling paper. Oh, I just feel like that's just so extremely loud and just almost obnoxious. All right, I need to clean my work surface real quick because I do have glue all over it. And I don't want things gluing together that shouldn't be gluing together because the table is gluing them together. So let's wipe this off real quick. I might glob of glue there. Now this one is not a baby wipe. This is a Windex wipe, which comes in very handy on a glass tabletop. It gets all that glue off. Whatever glue it doesn't get off, I can always scrape off. Right now, if I can't get the glue off, it means that it's just dried on there enough. And if it's dried on there enough that I can't get it off with this, then it's probably not going to come off on the rest of my project. I say probably, there are no guarantees. And now that's all dirty, so it's not going back into my jar. All right. I still need my glue stick, so I should not be putting that up yet. So I have 1, 2, that's a raggedy edge. All right, I said I don't like to do this with my scissors, but in this case I have to because that's just very raggedy. And I'm not sure I could make it any better with the water brush. I think because that's the one that was really, really close, wasn't it? Is that the one that was really, really close to the edge? No, it was that one. I don't know what happened with that one. All right, let's get moving on. You can leave these blank on the back, and that is not a problem because sometimes people just like to doodle, they like to draw. They have no problem with writing without the guidelines that sometimes we add for them. You can glue lined paper onto it to help with people like me who seem to be directionally challenged when writing without a guideline. I tend to write uphill. I've been told that that means I'm a positive thinker. I think it just means that I can't keep my directions straight. So right now I'm just fiddling around trying to see what I want to do where. I think I like having that one angled and this one kind of straight across, except for maybe not so far off the page. But I want some of that pink to show as well. There. I like that. I'm going to set that to the side. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do yet or not. Let's see. This one has quite a bit of pink in it. So maybe we could add just a little side of the trim from the pom-poms. But maybe the back side of it. I kind of like the back side of it too. Only is that going to make it hard to write on? That is the question. Because sometimes when we make journaling cards and then we gussy them up, they become difficult to write on if we don't watch it. And so right now I'm struggling, trying to figure out what I should do, if I should add anything to these journaling cards or if I should move on and make something else. I am going to go ahead and do the edges since I know I want to do that. Ooh, there's that noise again. So sorry about that. And the napkins take the color especially well whenever you are doing the edges of them like such, because they are absorbent. They're meant to be absorbent and they absorb that color and it spreads out nicely and it looks fairly natural. I like to do the back too. I don't like to leave it looking unfinished. Even if the only thing I did was applique a napkin to it, I want it to look finished. And for some reason I feel like if you do all this stuff to the front and don't touch the back with a bit of something, then it feels like you've quit the job before it was finished. It's my own personal opinion. You can say I'm wrong, and you know what? You could be right. But I know that it's right for me. And what's right for me isn't always right for everybody else. So, and I've said before, I love these. I think that they are makeup sponges, and they just come in this big sheet. And one side is like a hard, applicator. I know that some of the applicators are soft and spongy, and some are a little bit more firm. And this is like the firm makeup applicators on this white side. And then the back side is kind of, it's a sponge down there, but then it's almost like a, I don't know if I can get that to focus, like a scrubby bristle, not bristle brush, but, I don't know, like a really, really short shag carpet. How about that? Really, really short carpet fibers. I think that's about as close as I can come to a description. But I just really like it. It gives me more coverage more quickly. I don't have to worry about the circles, the dreaded circles from the applicators, because I cannot figure out how to not get a circle. And use it over and over and over again. Does not leave a harsh line. I can write on the back side what the name of the ink is that I've used it with, instead of trying to get it to stay with the particular ink pad that I have used. almost done. I know. Some people, I have some lovely people that I watch on YouTube that apologize frequently for you having to watch them distress the edges or color the edges or whatever term you want to use. Myself, I don't mind as long as they keep talking. As long as they keep talking to me, because I know and I understand that it is all part of the process. And you got to get through the process to get to the product, right? So, let's see. I think I like these pears. Maybe down here, you know, maybe if I put it up here. No, a postcard would have it over here, wouldn't it? So that, yes, that didn't work either. I will be covering that up because I don't want that label to be sticking out there. Let's see, so we have file folders, one of them checked off. I do like how those turned out. That makes me very happy. And I do believe that I have 5 different size cards. So I have a variety. So let's see what we can figure out to do with the postage stamps. I have some of these pages out of the book that I have already folded up because they just worked. I used one to make a pocket in another video. And I think that maybe I might be able to fold one such that it's the same size as a postcard would be. Oh, you know what? I can make a faux envelope. That's pretty simple. I think. I keep saying things are simple and then they turn out not so simple. And let me tell you, sometimes it's just a little frustrating. Is that... No, that's not going to work either. So maybe I just need to make a pocket and I just need to decorate it and I just need to quit overthinking. Am I the only one who overthinks? I don't think so. But I could be overthinking that. Who knows? Who knows? I need one with a little larger pocket in order to do that particular idea. So let's go with this one. I can put the lace on right across there. I like that raggedy edge and that raggedy edge and that raggedy edge. I wonder if I can make a raggedy edge on this end of the lace so that it looks like a raggedy edge. I have these decal scissors, but I don't know how well they'll cut lace. But let's try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? The worst that could happen is that it that it doesn't cut. How about that? It does seem to be cutting somewhat, even if I'm chewing it, but you know what? That kind of gives me a rough edge like I was wanting. So, there you go. Not exactly the way I was trying to do it, but it worked. It worked. Now I'm not going to try to make a pocket out of this. I am not going to try to do that. I think that would be just asking for trouble. So I am going to take my 3-in-1 glue I think what I'm going to do is take my glue stick first for the center part, and then take the 3-in-1 around the edge where it's a little bit heavier. Let's see what happens, but first I'm going to hit this edge. Oh, it's not open, but look at that. I didn't have to worry about it being open. Goodness gracious. The glue stick is right here. We have a backup page right here. Now, I haven't tried using glue stick with lace like this before, so this is an experiment. We'll see how it works. And I am almost done for today because I am almost ideaed out. I think I need to go do some laundry and get my second breath. Oh, I think that holds really well. We'll see what happens for the longer term. So I am going to just peel back this part here and see if I can put just a little tiny bit, without any glue globbies, just a tiny bit running across that curved edge, just to keep it down a little bit stronger than what I think the glue stick would. My head is probably in the way because I'm down here trying to concentrate. All right, now we're just gently going to pat because I don't want that terrible effect of the glue coming through. Now you can see I had a little bit squeezed out right there. I'm going to wait until it's dry because I can probably, at least I have successfully done it before, roll that up. It will roll up sometimes, most of the time. And that way I don't smear it all over the page trying to get it off before it's ready. I would rather wait just a little bit and get it to come off cleanly. And you know, I may not have even needed to do this little extra step with the 3-in-1 glue. It's just because I don't quite trust the glue stick yet because I haven't done that. So we'll see how that works because I'll be able to tell from the edges if it holds or not. All right, now to the side. I think actually I like the teapots on that particular one. So I'll save the pears for another place. I am going to make this another pocket, another double pocket. The one I made before was a triple because we put a little extra card on there. This will just be a double because I will glue on these 2 sides and then I'll glue on the 3 sides on the back to form pockets. And it may be possible to have too many pockets in a junk journal. I don't know. You'd be pretty hard pressed to convince me of it though. And I am going to set that down so that I can hit the edge of that lace. And I am going to just kind of do this and hit some of the highs and the lows. And I am going to do these edges separately just so that I can see how that has 2 different tears. I would like for both of the tears to be accented. So I will open that up and then add the color to that edge because it will show differently than the edge on the front of it, giving it a little bit of extra depth. Now this is the edge of the book page, so it's probably going to line up pretty close with that one. But I would rather go ahead and do all of the edges just in case, just because I know that it was done like that. I don't like to leave things half done, if I can help it. Sometimes it happens and it can't be helped. And again, you've seen me do this before. When I make a pocket by folding a page, I run a bead of glue along that crease as well, because when you fold the page, it does weaken the fibers. It doesn't matter how new or how old that page is. And I would just rather give it that little bit of extra strength, just in case. Now I don't push this down hard all the way because I want to have that little extra give to put things inside the page. And I think, I don't know, is this going to be too much if I put a little piece of fabric back there as well? I think maybe if I do it on both ends, it'll balance and it'll be fine. I don't want it sticking out too far. Let's see. And I like the way that that picks up the same color that's down in the teapot. I'm gonna stretch these edges a little bit to ravel them. Just a little bit more because it still feels like a clean cut. I don't know if it was a clean cut or if it just tore so well, but we'll do that just to make sure. Yes, I like that. So I'm going to carefully I want to put a thick enough layer that it does seep through the fabric in this particular instance, because as it seeps through the fabric, it will be grabbing onto the back of that piece of envelope with the stamps on it, so that I have a good contact. Oh yes, I do like that. I do like that a lot. All right, I am going to put a little spot of glue right there because I don't feel like that is going to hold well enough. Let's see, is my other corner on fairly tight? Yes, yes. Just that one that didn't get quite enough. It was a little further over. I don't think I put glue over that far. And so there is a pocket. I just need to find a page to put on it. That uses another one of my book pages and 2 more of my stamps. So let's go ahead and get those marked off. 1, 2, and let's see, got some more lace on there, but that's nowhere near a yard. I don't know that I'm even going to count that. We use some more book page. So I think that that is good for this video. And this is what we have made, besides a bit of a mess. We made these 5 journaling cards out of a file folder and a napkin, and we made this pocket that I will be putting into my book on a page, and it will form 2 pockets, and that was using lace and fabric and stamps and a book page. We're getting there, everyone. We are getting there, slowly but surely. So I will leave you with this, and I would remind you, as always, be kind to one another.